You are listening to Diasporic Music on Uhuru Radio. My name is Norman Otis Richmond, a.k.a. Jalali, and we're playing music made in the West but not of the West. And joining me on the line from Toronto, Canada, is Ramon San Vincenti, who is the man behind a new book called Rhymes to Re-Education. It's a hip-hop curriculum resource guide for educators with social justice activists. And the website is rhymestoreeducation.com. And Ramon, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, brother. How are you?
Real good. I guess we wanted to basically talk about why was there even a need for a book called Rhymes to Reeducation?
Yeah, for sure. So what we've been experiencing up here, and I know this is across North America, so it's not particular to our context here in Toronto, but it's a school system that continues to marginalize particular students based on race, based on class, doesn't provide the opportunities for students to achieve their maximal potential. There's systems that are in place that create barriers, and one of those things is, curriculum that is not, reflective of the cultures and the communities that we serve. And we know that this is a huge gap that's playing out. And so one of the things we also know is that, over the last 30 years, hip-hop has emerged as a dominant force in youth culture. And many would argue is the most dominant sort of youth culture across the globe today. So, and as a person who myself has grown up in the culture, as as a participant and as an MC, and many other people in our city who've been that's been their journey, and they're now utilizing hip hop as education in various spaces and having great success with engaging young people in conversations that are empowering through hip-hop. So we were like, okay, how do we mobilize this power and this potential of hip-hop music and culture into a document that could be used in various spaces to kind of, counteract some of what we're seeing in terms of, the schooling of our young people. So that's kind of like the motivation, right? Mm-hmm.
Now, we have hip-hop shows in Toronto. I guess the first hip-hop show that we had on radio was The Fantastic Voyage by a young man by the name of Ron Nelson. But you were part of one of the second hip-hop radio show. Was it the Power Move on CIUT?
Yeah, it was actually called the Master Plan.
Master Plan.
Yeah, Master Plan. You got the Master Plan.
how important were those two radio shows to what you? How does that help you with this current book now?
Yeah, for sure. Those shows I think were very important, just in terms of the Black community, and Black youth community, in Toronto and surrounding areas. I remember being I was in Hamilton at the time and trying to put tin foil on my antenna just so I could take in the sounds and realizing that, wow, here you got Black voice and Black experiences emanating over a radio airwave which was brand new at the time. It was transformative to experience that. And so when we had the opportunity to also have a show on the radio was big. And I wasn't so involved. My brother Power was mostly in John Bromsky and Motion. Sister Motion were mostly involved in that work with the radio program. But here you had, people who had definitely been coming from activism and various struggles in the Black community in Toronto, and then having, through their voice, through hip-hop culture, having a voice to have this program. And so I think it was, for me, that whole experience being a part of that movement with the Master Plan show, and then, being an MC in the group UBAD and on Blacklist Music, the record label, is foundational for me, the experiences I have moving into now writing curriculum as a teacher, and so that's what we're trying to also mobilize is, all that potential that comes from being a part of hip-hop community and culture, and how we bring that now to educational spaces to empower our young people, right?
All right, you're listening to Diasporic Music on Uhuru Radio now. Rhymes to Reeducation. Now, how do you rank social justice? We're talking about social justice.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that I guess this is a dumb question, but I'm going to ask you anyway. In 2014, social justice is kind of absent from current hip hop. It's not like it was during the heyday. Do you think that's actually the case?
Yeah, I think where we move into this era now, where you have mainstream hip hop, commercial hip hop, supported by an industry and a mechanism that is part of the dominant sort of capitalist structure. That so there's that voice that is dominant everywhere on the radio, and so when people think about hip hop, they think about what they're hearing on or seeing on BET, for example, right? Which is, I think, a very